You're watching Let's Chat.
Every day is no text and drive day with our friends at Warren and Griffin. Only 1 or 2 days a year they really do something special to help blow that out of the water. C. Mark is here, John Mark is here. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Morning,
both.
Chipper. How you doing, man?
Doing very well.
Good to see you.
You brought a proclamation
A
over
proclamation over here. You know, this is one of many that we have in one of our conference rooms. We call it the Ouija room.
Right.
And on special days, the one coming up, August the 5th, the mayor actually makes a proclamation that a certain day is Never Text and Drive Day.
Right.
And it's going to happen again August the 5th, and this is an example of a proclamation that was done by Mayor Burke when he was in office about proclaiming one specific day being Never Text and Drive Day in Chattanooga. And everybody, every day should put away their phone, but especially on this day, just make it maybe a conscious habit to put it away this day, and it could be a habit that goes on the rest of the week, month, and year.
So coming up in less than 2 weeks, you guys are taking the Never Text and Drive theme down to Miller Plaza, excuse me.
Absolutely right. Each year, we didn't really get to do it last year. We host an event to bring to everyone's mind Never Text and Drive and the importance of it. And this year we'll have plenty of entertainment and food and different things for people to help get the message out.
What else are you guys going to be doing that day?
Well, we'll have also the wheel that you can spin, and once you take the pledge, you spin the wheel and win a prize, and some of the prizes, of course, will be your normal WG swag, T-shirts, koozies, also food from the food trucks. We'll have food trucks set up there, along with music on the stage there. So from 11 to 1, it's going to be an event. It's a great area. Hopefully it's going to be pretty that day. Come and enjoy your lunch, buy from the food truck, and take the pledge to Never Text and Drive.
How many guys have you given the pledge to?
Oh.
How many drivers have you given the pledge to? Any rough idea?
Hundreds, thousands. I mean, we have been doing this for a lot of years.
You guys were the pioneers in the no text and drive.
And we tell this story often.
Well, we certainly tried to be one of the first in this area to get the message out. We saw the importance of never texting and driving. For example, Chip, distracted driving occurs 3 different ways. It's manual, visual, or cognitive. And cognitive would be not paying attention. Visual would be looking at something other than the road.
Sure.
And manual would mean using your hands like eating. The thing about texting and driving, it involves all 3.
Yeah.
You're not looking at the road, your hands are off the wheel, you're not paying attention. So your cognitive skills, your visual skills, and your manual skills are all being used someplace other than operating your vehicle.
And the crazy stat that still just blows my mind is that you're 6 times more likely to be involved in a car accident if you're texting rather than if you're driving drunk. You're 6 times more likely to be involved in an accident when you're texting rather than it's safer to drive. It's 6 times safer to drive drunk than text and drive.
Not that we're advocating driving
drunk. Of course
drunk.
not. We're advocating that.
Don't do that.
But really, it is safer. It's 6 times safer.
6 times safer than driving drunk.
When I read that stat, that just blows my mind that driving intoxicated, impaired, is 6 times more dangerous than driving
And we certainly
drunk.
focus on that with the law more than we focus on texting and driving. Even though it's against the law, the repercussions aren't as bad.
Our first push was to outlaw texting and driving, okay? And that was one of the first laws passed, illegal to text and drive. And then that didn't work because what we saw happen was that, people would drop their phone in their lap.
Right.
And at least when you're texting and driving, John Mark was talking about the elements of how that happens. I mean, maybe your eyes could still be maybe a visual field in front of you when you're texting, but when that law became passed, then they dropped the texting and became more dangerous to actually when that law was passed.
Yeah.
And so now we have a law that says, put the phone away.
It's just, I was reading a study a while back that, and basically to boil it down, you're talking about the correlation between drunk driving and texting and driving. People get behind the wheel and they drive drunk from point A to point B. People never text and drive with one text.
No,
right.
Absolutely.
The percentage was extremely low. If you're texting one time while you're behind the wheel, you're doing it 4.9 times
And going
or something
multiple
bizarre
places.
like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and plus, you know, as far as the fatalities go, it affects 16 to 19-year-olds, that segment of the population. I mean, number one, Tennessee is one of the worst states in the nation for texting and driving.
Yeah.
One of the worst. Number two, the demographic that's impacted is that age group of 16 to 19 that are already distracted because they may have kids, their friends in the car.
Right.
So the last thing they need is the phone in their hand as well. And then they learn from their parents. 85% of new drivers learn their driving skills from their parents. And 70% of these teen drivers say that they have seen mom and dad text and drive.
Sure, and if you're driving, and I don't care, you can drive within 1 mile from this parking lot, you will see half a dozen people think they're being really, really discreet, and it's like,
Right.
you know, unless your both hands are on the wheel, you're texting and
Right.
driving
Right.
for the most
And it's
part.
very hard to police too. It's very
Sure it
hard
is.
for law enforcement to police, you know, someone that's texting and driving.
Sure.
It's hard to give. But I tell you one thing, John Mark and I have both seen this. You know, if we're in court and city court judges are adamant about making an example out of young people that have texted and are there for distracted driving,
Right.
texting tickets, you know, and so they're adamant about, you know, the safety protocols involved and how that could save a life. And so in court, they are singled out in court by the city court judges.
Only a couple of minutes left. Again, that event is coming up August the 5th. It'll be downtown. You can find out more at the Warren and Griffin website. I wanted to talk to you all briefly about rental car insurance. We were talking about this just during the break.
Right.
Of course, there's a chip shortage, and that means a lot of folks are having difficulty getting their cars fixed, or they're having to rely on
Right.
rental cars. Should you get insurance that the rental companies always want to offer you?
Chip, a lot of this is because the supply chain was disrupted
Right.
through COVID, but exactly right. What we're seeing is longer times to get cars repaired. Mark has an example that just happened this morning. You know,
Yeah,
one
as a
of
matter
the-
of fact, I had a client that was involved in an accident. It damaged her seatbelt. She didn't have rental car coverage, and this is what is happening because of the supply chain issues. The insurance company will pay for a rental car when your car is actually in the shop. The problem is it might take 2 or 3 weeks to get the part to put the car in the shop, and so for 2 or
Right.
3 weeks you have no rental car, or you're driving your damaged car that might have a defective seatbelt. I have never, and I have flipped on this in the last couple of years as far as having rental car coverage in your car insurance policy. It's inexpensive. You should have it for a situation like this
Sure.
where someone else caused a wreck and you need to get a car to get to medical treatment, to get to work, to get to school. So pull your policy out, see if you have rental car coverage. If you don't, call your agent. Spend the additional $5 or $6 a month to have that safety net, because right now we have individuals where the car's damaged for 2 or 3 weeks, and the insurance companies say, well, we're obligated, and I don't agree with this, they're
Right.
obligated to pay loss of use from day one all the way
Got
through.
it. All right, guys, we're out of time. Thanks so much. Good to see you again, and we'll see you coming up on August the 5th down at Miller Plaza. Find out more about it. Go to warrenandgriffin.com. That's warrenandgriffin.com. It's coming up August the 5th. We'll see you there.
Thanks, Chip.